All right, so behind me you can see a Massey Ferguson 550 combine, and that's a 1985, by the way, for all those of you that actually care. And it never fails. I always get the comments when I go to the auction and they sell combines like this, or like at the last one they sold a couple of Case IH 1640 combines for cheap, and people were like, wow, I can't believe the combine prices. Okay, let me just settle the score here. When you go to the auction and you buy a combine like this for say $3-4 grand, the odds of it being, the chances of it being field ready when you pull it out of there and get to the field is about a miracle to none. And a miracle just left town. You buy a combine like this for $3 grand, rest assured if you make it right, I'm not talking about just field ready, you make it right, you can easily bury $20,000 to $30,000. $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 in an engine rebuild alone. And that doesn't include the bearings. Some of these bearings that I had to buy for this thing were not necessarily special order, but I had to search the world over for a couple of them. Found them. But come with me today, start tapping into this combine, and just keep in mind, when you buy a combine that's used at auction for cheap, it ain't going to be cheap when you're done, because this certainly hasn't been. Well, anybody that's ever planted a field and put a seed in a field knows September's get the combine ready time. And really, I'm going to start making this month less painful. After harvest this year, this combine will be cleaned out thoroughly so that come next September, it's not so painful. But going to go through this thing in the rear end at the very least. I don't know if I'll even bother videoing when I do the front, but right now I'm working on the back and tinkering away. And in today's video, I'm going to give a shout out, so stay tuned for that. So let me just tell you straight up, the back end of this, there's bearings, there's augers, there's pulleys, belts, you name it. About $1,400 in bearings, okay? Now, 2 of those are gonna go up top, but overall, about $1,400 just in bearings alone. Out of frame engine rebuild, about $7,000, so where are we at? $8,400? Okay, so you bought the combine for $3 grand, now you're at what, 11.5? All right. Bevel gears on the other side, drive belts, this is belt driven, any hydraulic work that you need done, which is at very least routine maintenance. I run High-Tran in this, about $100 for 5 gallons of the stuff, at least it was. I'm sure it's going up with the current situation. Filters, oil changes, you're gonna be, you get the thing home, assuming there's nothing, and I mean nothing wrong with the grain table or the heads themselves, you're going to be between 10 and 15 grand into it before you even start picking. When you see the next person buy a cheap combine at the auction, it wasn't cheap. Well, I'm inside the combine here and going to burn out that bearing and that bearing. And I got the hose. The hose knows how to keep matters cooler. You can see the smoke coming out of that right there. I'll just give it a little dosey-do. Main objective is just not to catch anything on fire. Whew. Smells like something on a barbecue grill that's not edible. I'm up in here in the back of the combine and all the sieves and the pan and everything's tore out of it. And I can't get that front to turn. And there you go. Tighter than a frog's ass. It's packed in there tight. And that has to be basically hand tore out of there in order for this threshing system to even engage. Well, burnt the collar off, now burning the bearing out. The old blue wrench. Keep her cool. Now for this bottom one here. Oh, I know, sharpshooters. Take the tank off. Now just put something in there. In between. Really, for safety, you should take this tank off. She hot. But all these bearings have to be changed out before it can even be taken to the field. Ain't playing the game this year. Now, this is where all you sharpshooters are going to do your best work in the comment section. Trying to blue wrench that bearing out without taking the tank off. And yeah, there's fuel in there, so trying to get something wedged in there, don't care what it is, anything other than the tank. And finally got this off. Man, it took a act of Congress get that off of there. So got the new bearings in on this side here. You can see newbie. So should be smooth rolling. Whole combine needs a paint job. It's been the least of my worries. If it ain't mechanically sound, why put a DuPont tune-up on it? I don't give a crap how bad or good it looks if it ain't running right. So this whole back end will have all new bearings. Put bevel gears in the unloading auger, and we're going to tap into this front end here. And this is getting tore off. Right there, we're going to lift that off with the loader and dig deep and get this thing all loosened up. I still need a steering valve. And for those of you that are new to the channel, it's what I pick beans with, Massey 550. A lot of complaints about them. Not a lot of complaints about the Massey 510, but a lot of the 510 carried over to this. It's almost like in some of the things they reverse engineered, but in that upper hydraulic reservoir, I know that I was desperately seeking and searching for a hydraulic filter, and come to find out the reservoir is the same as a 510, at least on this one. So somebody changed it out. I don't care, I just needed to know. But that's what's going on, getting ready for harvest. The Super C, it's sitting there watching and learning. It's learning how to do all this stuff, so yeah. Then you got some yard birds over there. They're picking and grinning and picking. And there's a nasty tree that needs taken down and the stump ground right out of it. That might happen within the next year. It might not. I don't know. All right, well, Wildcat Willie, this is the shout out that you requested a long time ago. And I said, once we get working on the big red ugly, I'd give you that shout out. And that's what I'm doing now. This is out to Wildcat Willie. I want to tell you a little bit about his channel. He is a Massey Ferguson combine extraordinaire. And I had to take my glove off there and use my mouth to do it, so I couldn't do two things at once with my mouth. But likes his Masseys, man. And I stumbled into this Massey Ferguson. That's not what this video is about. But getting ready to put the rethreshing system on there. The bearings are on this side. All you sharpshooters that had your fingers on the keyboards waiting to just type and pound and type and throw your 2 cents and you're not even subscribed, got bad news for you. It worked. There you go, and there we grow, so screw you. Wildcat Willie, I'll put a link in the description down below to his channel, and I want to tell you, he's not like me. When you go to his channel, he's got Minneapolis Moline, Massey Ferguson combines. I know he restored, what was it, 300 Massey Ferguson and sold it, considered to be a good price in my book. I won't tell you that price because it sold anyways. But yep, link down below. He's a lot more mellow and astute in his speaking. He doesn't goof around. He doesn't give people nicknames and things like that I like to do. I love my nicknames. So let's go, let's grow. And that's shout out to Wildcat Willie. I'd say your nickname, but we're not on TikTok, so those words aren't suitable for YouTube. Beep, beep. Defied gravity and got everything loaded back up again. And I don't know. Let's go check the other side out. It was actually Wildcat Willie that sold me this. So, because the old one, it just wasn't coming off of there. It was rust welded. And no matter what I did, I mean, 3/4 inch impact, trying to pull it off there, it just wouldn't. I torched the living crap out of it, got as hot as it just about could have been and without turning it into liquid, and it still wouldn't come off. So had to be cut, sliced, open just a little bit, and finally it come off of there. But man, that was a real treat. So that's on there, and that's a relief. So about as happy as I can be at this point in time. I figure right now I probably have about a month before harvest. Well, here in the back of the combine, you can see here, got these blocks, dank, dank, dank. And the one thing old Wildcat Willie warned me about is that these got to be greased. And that's one of the, I don't want to know if it's the #1 way a combine catches fire, but it's certainly one way that you'll produce heat and encourage a fire in the back of your combine, especially with all this chaff. My word. Now the ones up there, from an outer appearance alone, look newer, but that doesn't mean there's grease in them. For lubrication, these are highly polished, my word. But you can see this one over here, it's shot too, so could be more than likely fabricating my own. You know, I don't know what this is, if that's maple or what it is, but probably use oak. You know, there ain't a whole lot to those. But yeah, loads of fun. Gonna be parked in the back of this thing for a while because, like I said, all that up there has to be dug out in order for the threshing unit to work properly. And this is a dirty combine, there's no question about that. I'm not trying to hide anything. Well, got to pull these straw walkers out to get to the good stuff up front. You can see one of the, oh, I don't know, we'll call them blocks. That's what they were when I ordered them. Those are 30 bucks a piece, and I think shipping was like 15 bucks. I ordered 4 new ones because I think there's going to be some that are salvageable. So the next time you see somebody buy a cheap combine at an auction, now you know how cheap it was.